record, John Mancini, Principal Civil Engineer with BL Companies, 355 Research Parkway in Meriden, Connecticut. With me is Senior Project Manager Ray Gradwell, also Civil Engineer, who will be working potentially on this initiative. Mr. Chair, what you see before you is quite a large scale, probably obviously not an acceptable scale for if this project moved forward in greater detail before this commission. It's an 80 scale drawing. We just wanted to compile it this way so it could be on one sheet. What you're looking at is a board that north is to the right, Route 1 is along our bound here, and Connecticut US I-95 is along what would be the southerly border. The site is about 135 acres. The upper 80 acres or so was previously in front of this board for development of a particular one user of a company that was and currently at least owns property here in Branford. The map shows 2-foot contours. It shows delineation of treed areas. This is a aerial photography updated with physical boundary located on the ground, as well as wetland flags that were field verified and field located. And we did pay close attention to the previously approved wetland flagging for the entire upper 80 acres. Our knowledge of the lower 40 plus acres, that no project was ever proposed for that site, but nonetheless, those are also field located, staked in the field, and then field located by our surveyors. This work was done in the fall of 2010, and this represents an existing conditions map. Our site is fronted by Route 1, which any development to this site will obviously have a connection to Route 1, but also by combining the two parcels together into one cohesive, we hope, viewed that way, development. We also benefit from 2 other already legally deemed access points to this massing of land. One is an extension of an easement that's already in place, grading, utilities, and right-of-way off of East Industrial, as well as, again, easements, utilities, and all the necessary legal mapping requirements to extend Sycamore Way into, again, any type of development on this site. In blue, we've highlighted the wetlands. The flag numbers are shown. And in red, it represents a 100-foot setback or your upland review area. We are bounded to the east by the town line. There's a small portion of our property which was similar to when the application was before you last, that is in actually Guilford here. But much like that project, no work would be contemplated and no access would be contemplated to Guilford as at least preliminarily discussed. So, if I may, Ray, if you want. Go to a site plan first. Again, we are in conceptual development on this site. Right now, we would be moving forward, should the applicant move forward through a PDD development plan, and it would be of mixed use variety. The upper sort of marquee development focus up top would be a medical office building. I wouldn't call it similar to what you see in Guilford, but the intent is to have a medical facility that is a flexible medical facility. 3-story building is proposed with the adequate parking for it. These are one-story flex office buildings, ones that have essentially 4 sides to a building so that they could be chopped up into several smaller offices need be, but also single-story. These would be cascading down the hill. Obviously, this is the upper plateau, this is lower, and then this is even lower, and there's these grade change moments in the slope, which you'll see on the grading plan soon, that define some areas of definitive grade change. That's the upper office park, flex space, and the lower office park. The idea here is for some age-targeted homes. There's around 34 units. These are single-family dwellings that are like a townhome style with a master bed on the first floor. Fairly sizable units, I would say, on the more luxury side in terms of unit size in its own little development. Down in this area, there would be some ancillary, perhaps a civic building, perhaps something support of these types of uses. A bank perhaps, a dry cleaners, perhaps a little restaurant, but very minimal amount of retail, 20,000 square feet use here. Opposite, an extension of Sycamore Way would be a private drive that came up to a section of the development that would be developed as apartments. These would be 3-story apartments. If you're wood stick construction, if you're familiar with Avalon Bay, say in North Haven, that's the type of unit. The units would vary from around 900 to 1,100 square feet. This zone here would have potentially some carports and car garages that would take the place of some of the parking spaces. But again, this apartment zone on the development master plan is parking sufficient for what's up there. There would be a clubhouse and a community center, community building for the apartments. And then at the lowest part of the site, along I-95, we are proposing, there is strong interest by a proposed wholesale retailer in this market who is looking and has been looking, and there's a strong interest in this site by them, and they would be located in this area here.